Good evening. The number of cases of coronavirus in the West has risen again. This afternoon, it was announced that a person in Bristol now has the disease, and there's a new case in Swindon too.
Both had recently come back from northern Italy. Today, public health officials reassured the public, saying this is not unexpected and they're well equipped to deal with it. Our reporter Andrew Plant joins us now. Andrew.
Alex, hi. Yeah, let's just start with a bit of perspective on those numbers. We were told today that the cases across the southwest now number 22, but that, of course, is across a huge area, a massive population, and as a percentage, of course, that is just a tiny fraction. But those numbers do seem to be travelling in just one direction, don't they? We started at the weekend with 2 confirmed cases. They were both in Gloucestershire. Yesterday we were told it was 15, and today it's jumped to 22. Now, we don't have information about a lot of those cases, but the ones we do all seem to share a common theme, and that is that they have recently returned from holiday in northern Italy.
This is a top-secret lab right in the centre of Bristol, and they grow live coronavirus here. Scientists trying to understand more about how the virus works, all part of a global effort to try to stop it.
Some of the work we're doing here is to sort of say, this is what the virus does, this is how it gets into a cell, these are the things it makes, these are the things it does to a cell, these are the parts of a cell's that it disables and makes a mess of in order to make its own life easier. And that process begins here.
Yesterday, Wiltshire Council confirmed 3 adults were self-isolating at home after testing positive for the virus. Work now underway by the government, they say, to trace anyone those people have been in close contact with.
It's really about talking to them, to do a risk assessment, to give them the correct advice and guidance, so it basically reduces the risk to them and to the wider community. The key thing here is this is a Public Health England process. If you've not been contacted by PHE, then you don't need to take any action.
Those 3 cases and another confirmed today in Swindon had all returned from holidays in Italy. The advice from GPs now, if you've been to a high-risk area and feel unwell, don't just turn up at the surgery. From today, many have now suspended online appointment bookings.
What we're trying to do really is trying to push this into the long term. The longer it takes to come out, the longer we can spread the peak over there, the better the health services can cope, the better the services we have for patients. So we are doing things, we're going to be stopping people making face-to-face appointment bookings online because we want to talk to them in advance and find out if they're at risk.
Coronavirus isn't the first of its kind. At the start of this century, SARS killed around 700 people, and 10 years ago, MERS was fatal in about 30% of cases. Coronavirus seems less lethal, but more contagious. This Bristol lab is making copies to test that theory. The live virus kept at biosafety containment level 3. That's the same as tuberculosis or yellow fever. The hope here that it can be understood and eventually beaten.
So let me just give you a breakdown of that 22 across the southwest. There's 1 in Cornwall, 7 in Devon, the 2 I mentioned in Gloucestershire, 3 in Wiltshire and 1 each in Swindon and Bristol. That still leaves 7 cases, though, that are, if you like, geographically unaccounted for. We expect to know more about those cases sometime tomorrow.
OK, thank you very much for that.